Oh, let's hide all of the mess on my floor. What am I wearing? This needs to change right now. Anyways, hey guys, what's up? It's Jessica and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is inspired by the upcoming competition season and I'm very excited about it. This is what probably should explain a bit more before I start talking. I'm wearing this shirt for a reason. It's from Pink Cheerleading Championships 2016 because 2017 hasn't happened yet. But it is because I'm doing a cheer related video today, which I'm super excited about. I don't know if I've ever done one that isn't like a montage, which I love doing montages. I love doing, I call them Life Through the Lens, or my Life Through the Lens series. They're my favorite videos to upload and edit, and I just love them so much. But I don't have enough footage to do those every single week because I'm not going to go out and film a bunch of clips every single week because that involves actually going places and doing things, and I just don't do that because I don't think Life Through the Lens, lying in bed sleeping all night, would be a very good video. So today's video, after that big long ramble, is going to be tips for your first or just in general cheer competitions. I feel like I've been experienced now. This is going to be my second competition season ever, my second year doing cheer ever. Last year was my first season, and I was actually really looking for one of these kind of videos, one that kind of gives you tips of what to expect if you're going to your first competition, or just what to expect if you're going to, you know, an away competition or a local competition or just a competition with a new team, or like different tips and tricks and stuff. I found a few, but they all kind of had different things, and I thought I would just kind of take my personal experience as well as the things that I learned from other people and mesh it all together and give you this video. So before I start getting into the tips and stuff, I just kind of wanted to explain my cheer experience, I guess, what I'm doing. So I am going into my second year of cheerleading ever. I'm on a competition team, a competitive team, an all-star team, whatever you want to call it. So that means we are our own team. We don't have a team that we cheer for. We don't cheer at football games. We are in a school team. We are in a high school team. We are an all-star competition team. We go through a gym. If you don't know what that is, basically we have our own gym that we go and we practice, and we're the team, and then we go to competitions and we compete to win. I'm not competing to lose, and basically that's just it. There's no other teams involved. It's just ourselves. We do a combination of tumbling and jumps and pyramid and stunting, and then as well as an element of dance involved with it, and it's all just very performance orientated. So basically what you're going to expect is you are going to get there, and you are, depending on who you're going with, if it's your family, if it's your friend, if it's with your team, you're going to basically meet up with your team and your friends and your coach, and by friends I mean your teammates. I don't know why I said that. And depending on what your coach might want, you might need to be there 2 hours prior to competition or prior to warm up, or an hour, or you might have to be there 30 minutes prior, or like depending on what your coach wants, depends on what you are going to be doing. Personally, I like to be there very early. I like to make it a whole day thing. There's been times when we've competed at 9:45 at night, and I was there at 11 a.m. just to kind of watch the other teams, to support our local high school team, which 3 girls on my team coach. And so I was supporting them. I actually played their music for them for a few of the competitions. So like, I'm your music girl. But bring food because you're gonna get hungry, and food is hella expensive at competitions, I've found. So here's the rundown. So you'll get there, you'll meet up with people, whoever you are going to meet up with. If you're there early, then your teammates might not be there yet, but if they are there, you can meet up with your teammates. You guys can go, depending on how the competition is set up, either to a back room. I've had a bunch of different stuff. We've had it where we are all just in the bleachers and there's no real back area to do it, which was the worst setup ever. There's ones where it's like, you walk in the door, there's like this big sectioned off area for athletes and coaches to go, and then around the corner is where like the floors and stuff. We've had other ones where it's a whole nother like conference room. We've had one where it's like a convention room, like a big giant room and a bunch of different tables, and different like gyms go to different tables. In Portland at Pac West, we had our own little like conference room kind of thing. because we were a larger gym. So you'll get there, you'll do your thing, you'll ditch your bags, you'll ditch your stuff. You might watch a few other teams if you'll support your other teams at the gym. Maybe support your high school teams, maybe support your friends, maybe just go and watch like Worlds teams or stuff like that. And then your coach will set a time and you guys will all come together, and chances are you might start warming up ahead of time, like doing some cheer jacks, doing some stretching, kind of just warming up your body before you go onto the warm-up mats. The warm-up mats are a series of like 4 different mats. Some are spring, some are just not, and it all depends on what the competition is set up. Some you get full mats, some you just get smaller ones. You'll always get one full mat, tends to be at the end, but you get there and chances are you're already warmed up, so you go on and you have, depending on competition, 5 minutes or 7 minutes or 4 minutes to do your thing on each mat. And so chances are your coach will tell you what you're going to do on the mat ahead of time. So you might be doing pyramid on the first mat, and so you do that, you make sure it's good, you warm that up, then you move on to the next mat, and it might be your tumbling mat. Might be your spring floor, so you might be doing your tumbling on there, and then you move on, and then you might do your stunts on the next mat, and then you move on, and then you'll do, a full mark through with whatever needs to be worked on or whatever. Like, your coach will tell you what to do, and it just kind of is up to what your coach decides to do on that day. But chances are you will have your competition style warm up. My coach, at least, they do competition style warm up before we do full outs in practice. So like, okay, we're gonna treat today, like we're gonna do competition style warm up, then we're gonna do full out, then we're gonna run sections, and then we're going to, clean it up and like do different things. And that's how they run practice. So we know what to expect once we get there. So instead of standing on the floor like, oh, what are we doing? It's kind of like you get going, because there's only a very limited time that each team has on the floor. So you're on your first floor for say 5 minutes, then a whistle blows or someone goes on a microphone and says, switch, and then you go to the next mat, and that happens. And then once you get off the last mat, you go into a holding period, and depending on the competition and depending on if they're behind schedule or ahead of schedule, you'll either have 1 routine or 2 routines or something like that, where you stand there and you wait and you calm down, you cool down, you kind of bring yourself together. Your team tends to do like a little huddle. You guys might pray, you guys might cheer, you might, have a little pep talk, depending on your team and the atmosphere of your team. Depends on what you're really going to do. But then the next team goes on, so you're standing there waiting on, like, off stage, off the floor, and then once they're done, they go off, and then they have a little microphone guy, little announcers, like, and next up we have whatever your team is, whoever you are, they'll announce you, you'll go onto the floor, you will take your pose, it'll be silent for a minute, and then by a minute I mean a second, but it seems like a long time, and then your music will start, and then your routine will go on. Now once your routine's over, you leave the floor with your head held high no matter what happens. Always remember that. Depending on the competition, if it's a real good competition, which hopefully most of the ones I'm going to are going to be, they have a little table set up and they have a TV, and you can rewatch your routine, and by rewatch it I mean watch it for the first time, because you didn't watch it while you were doing it. But you watch it so you can see the other stunt groups and not have to focus on yours, and you can watch people doing the tumbling and all the other things to see if any deductions happened, and so you can kind of estimate what your deductions are going to be. And if you don't know what it is, then just don't worry about it, because other people will figure it out for you. And then you go, and chances are there's going to be maybe an hour, maybe half an hour, maybe a few hours, depending if it's a 1 or 2 day competition. If it's a 1 day competition, then you'll wait for awards and you'll go to awards, but if it's 2 days, then on day 1 you would just leave. Day 2, then you'd have time to kill before awards for most teams, unless your team is like right before awards. But you'll still have time to kill, because coaches need to kind of do all their inputting and evaluating and stuff before awards begin. But you'll sit there, and how most competitions work is you sit on the floor and they announce team one by one, starting off from, whatever it is, 8th or 5th or 3rd or 2nd, or however many teams are in your division, and they'll announce who came in which place. And also, depending on the competition, you guys might get medals, or you might get a banner, or I've been to competitions where you get bows, and the bows say first place on them, because we've never gotten not a first place bow at a competition that we got bows at. We've gotten 3 bows at 3 competitions, and we won all of them. It's a great time. And then it's over. There's other cases, I've been to a competition, multiple competitions actually, where we don't all go on the floor. there was one Pac West actually where everyone was sitting on the floor, and then there was a little bit of a stage, and they announced the top 3 teams, and the top 3 teams got to go up on stage, and then they narrowed it down. They went 3-2-1, whoever got those places. In our division, there's only 3 teams at Pac West, so we got second, unfortunately, because we didn't really have much tumbling, and the Utah team lied to us and pulled out fulls, standing fulls and stuff, when we weren't expecting that. Like, oh, we have no tumbling, and we're like, okay, good, because we don't either. And then they're like, oh, I accidentally pulled a double during warm-up. I'm like, boy, look at me. 1, doubles are illegal in level 2, so why are you doing it? And 2, why would you lie to us? We kind of figured you were tumbling. Most American teams have tumbling. Most teams have tumbling in general. Our team just doesn't because we're old and we can't tumble and we don't have a tumbling coach. So, it's just our team. But this year, we have tumbling, so hopefully we'll do good. That's kind of how it works. And you get your award, and then you go home, and then the competition's over, and yeah. I'm going to actually stop this video here and make a part 2 because it's too long. The next part of the video, part 2, will be the tips and tricks for competitions. So yeah, you just have to stay tuned for that.